Hello and welcome back, my everyday watercolorists. We are continuing. I'm Shayna Cersei, and I'm so excited to paint with you today. And we are continuing with our watercolor journey, where we're painting every day, or almost every day, or as many days as we possibly can. And I will hopefully be giving you a video most days to help inspire you to get into your watercolor journals and paint without pressure, just getting those creative juices flowing. And we are on day 5, I think. So let's recap. Again, this journal I started in 2022 while I was in London. I never finished it. I just abandoned it on the shelf. And then I said, let's finish up this journal and then we'll start a new one. So this is what we've done in this series. We did this landscape. This was when I was in London. We did this series here, or these paintings. We did our cow on day 3. Yep, day 4 we did these lovely flowers. Day 5, that's where we are today. So let me just get this clamped down here. You know what? I'm going to clamp down the other side too. I have all kinds of these binder clips of all sizes. They're so useful and handy for so many things. Okay, so we are going to be painting some vegetables today because you can paint vegetables whenever you feel like it, but also because I was contacted last night by someone I met at an art fair several months ago, and she asked if I would do commissions, and I said absolutely, depending on what it is and what you're looking for. Go ahead and contact me. Well, it's been several months, totally forgot about it. And she contacted me last night, and she just finished remodeling her kitchen, and her husband, I think it's her husband, like to cook French cuisine and have these great ideas for some artwork that could go in there. And some of it will include vegetables like celery, carrots, garlic, onions type things. Some of it will include maybe a French press, eggs in a bowl, breads, a baker holding bread. So there's lots of different things. A chicken was mentioned. I would love to paint them a chicken. So lots of different ideas out there, and I'm going to start putting them in a sketchbook, just some of the subject matter, starting to refamiliarize myself with it. I'm not using any inspiration photos. I'm not doing anything I normally would do when planning a commission in terms of, this is not what the commission is going to look like, what we're doing in the journal, but I'm just going to start playing with the subject matters again. So I hope you're here for that, and I love to paint these types of things. And I love when I have kind of a goal in mind eventually, even though this is not what, just refamiliarizing myself, but with a purpose, not just painting something to paint something, although that can be really freeing as well. But it's like, oh, I'm getting to know carrots again, because I'm eventually going to have to really get to know them really well for a big final painting. Okay, so spoiler alert, we are doing carrots today, and then I'll do some other vegetables at some other time. So let's get started. I'm going to start with oranges that I already have in my palette. You can definitely mix your own. I have a quinacridone gold, which is this color, this more earth tone brown orange. I'm sorry for the glare. And then I also have this transparent pyrrole orange. You could definitely mix your own oranges with yellows and reds. I'm just using those because they're really great colors already in my palette. And I'm sure they will have stuff mixed into them as well. It won't stay that way. And then I have sap green, a little phthalo blue can be added to that. So let's just get started. All right, I have a size 6 round brush that I'm working with this morning, and I think I'll stick with that. And I feel like I need to paint them this way, but I don't want to turn my sketchbook. I'm going to paint them on an angle this way, just so you can we can use the space, maximize the space, but also I don't have to turn the whole sketchbook because that's just annoying in this particular space. All right, so carrots are round or rounder at the top, and then they come down to a point at the bottom. They are orange, but they're also yellow and brown and have lots of earth tone colors to them. I'm going to leave some white space. And let's see here. Make this one super bright. I'm going to let them touch, I think, towards the top so they look like they're, like this one is right next to that one. And a clump. And let's put another one kind of right over here. Add a lot of water. And I think I'm going to put another one kind of like right up here, but you're only going to see the top of it. And then we're going to add some greenery on top as well. And these are just kind of floating out in space. They're not really, maybe I'll put a little background around them. But I am going to add a couple layers onto these with some more texture and some darker, more vibrant colors. Just kind of getting our base layer down. All right, let's put one more, like right here. And you might see like a little bit of it down here. And maybe a fifth one kind of going right off the page here, a little skinny one. All right, so I'm gonna let those dry. There's a lot going down here on the bottom with like too many jagged lines at the bottom. It was bothering me. And then this one, I just want to firm up the bottom a little bit. All right, I'm gonna let it lie. Let's work on some of the greenery. So I'm gonna put in some lighter color greenery first. So this is Sap Green and a little Diarylide Yellow over here. And they have lots of these, like their stem structure are a lot of these little long, like straw-like stems, but then they have leaves towards the top. And again, I don't have any inspiration in front of me. Like if I was doing this for real, I might have actual real, like a bunch of carrots in front of me, so I could really, even if I wasn't painting them realistically and more expressively, it's still helpful to have that in front of you. Because you still want your expressive thing, whatever it is, to look like an actual, to be recognizable as a carrot. Let's let that one dry. This has to dry because it's just going to keep bleeding over there. So we'll let that dry. So now I'm putting in, this is the Sap Green by itself. Actually, I think this has a little bit of phthalo blue mixed into it. So getting way up on the tip of my brush, and I could change brushes, get a smaller one if I really needed some kind of fine lines. And then at the top of our carrot bunch is when the leaves kind of all come together at the top. And you know, let's do, actually I'm going to do it on this side, I think. Just some of the bunch getting separated over here. I'm just going to pounce in, going right up to the edge. So pouncing in some of this foliage that's at the top, not really worrying about leaf or shape structure, leaf structure or anything like that. I'm going to get some darker. And if you wanted to make it cooler and more dark, you can add a little blue, so that's super dark. Just adding in some contrast. Add a little bit of this down here, but not a lot. Beautiful. All right, now our carrots need a little more attention, I think. They're pretty flat and dull. So let's add some more layers to add some contrast. So let's see, I'm going to have light, I guess, coming from this direction and some texture to these. So we're going to add light and texture. So I'm going to put the shadow on this side, and I'm going to start by just adding another layer. So this was the transparent pyrrole orange. I'm going to start to add some of these little stripy lines just by pulling out some of this color from the shadow I put in there. And I put a little shadow on this side because this is kind of falling behind this carrot up here. So even the light is coming from this way. Just blending that out a little. Let's get, this is Quinn Gold on this one. And you can see when I start to put the lines on, I'm not very slow and deliberate. I'm not like 1, 2, 3, you know, then it starts to look very contrived and more illustrative or cartoonish. I do a little bit from both sides. Some are just in the middle, kind of back and forth. If you get something too harsh, just blend it out, make it lighter. And I'm even going to take a little purple. I know, purple crazy, right? But these are very yellow oranges, and this makes a beautiful brown or dark color. So if you need just more of a punch of a shadow, I would much rather use purple than, say, gray, especially in something really colorful like this. This carrot that's back there, just make it darker. Now I'm even using like the whole side of my brush to put in that shadowy side, and now pulling out with the tip, pulling the color out this way. But don't forget to let some of those touch the other side. We're thinking about that. And this paper is very interesting, the way these oranges are drying on it. They're drying very flat. I'm going to give some yellow to this one back here. It's going to look kind of orangey. A lift out some color in a few spots. Boop, boop. All right. And then if you wanted to give a background like these, I would just leave these normally in my sketchbook like this. But if I wanted to kind of see what background colors would look like, this would be a great place to do it. Even if I'm not, going to paint a full background in here. So for these carrots, they're an orangey yellow color, and opposite that on the color wheel would be blues. I don't want to go full blue. I'm going to pull out some of this phthalo blue here, and it's mixing with this green over here. That's fine. I'm not worried about it. So it's like this kind of turquoisey, almost greenish blue at this, very green. And then I'm going to add some Payne's gray to it. And then I'm going to add, so it's too green, so I'm going to add a little bit of magenta. And you can see that's really going to dull it down, but I'm losing some of the blue that I really want. Let's add some cerulean blue. I could add more phthalo, but I'm going to add cerulean because I think it's going to give me more of that grayish blue tint that I want. There we go. So this is like a very greeny blue gray color that I think could look really cool as like a washed out background to these carrots, because when you put them next to each other, it's really going to start to make the carrots pop. I mean, you could definitely leave it white as well. But I love this kind of blue and orange color. And then you can wet on wet, even drop in a few spots of like darker color. Here's some like, ooh, true phthalo. Oh my gosh, we're at 17 minutes. I think we gotta end this. We're just playing, which I love. And kind of exploring our way through color theory, like, oh, what looks good next to what? This was fun. Well, thank you for joining me for the carrots. So I'm going to continue, I think tomorrow, maybe some garlic and onions or celery. And then we're definitely going to throw some, it's going to be like a food themed week, I think. Some bread or croissants or baguettes in there, maybe a bowl of eggs. I got lots of ideas. Maybe a chicken will appear because I love painting chickens. That was my very first commission, was painting 5 different types of chickens. And it was so fun. Okay, so there are our carrots. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Shayna Searcy. Don't forget to check out the description. Give this video a like. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're painting or what you'd like to see painted. And yeah, have a great rest of your day and happy painting, y'all.